SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Have you been seriously injured? Mama Justice is here for you. Our medical team partners with top-notch doctors, surgeons, therapists, and urologists, ensuring a comprehensive recovery journey. If you've been injured, call Mama Justice today. We're here for you.
You're listening to SportsTalk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi, and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game. Right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
The College World Series is underway in Omaha. In about 3 hours from right now, the Ole Miss Rebels will take the field and begin their quest for a second national championship. I'm Brian Haydad. Welcome into Sports Talk Mississippi here on a Friday. Will East is in Studio X. Do you have any? I'm sorry if you had a big entrance plan today, Will. I ruined it for you. That's my bad if indeed that is the case.
No, just a regular entrance.
All right, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, looking as dapper. What do you? You cold?
It's a little chilly in here.
Go stand outside for a second. You'll warm right back up. I promise. We're in a very chilly Pearl River Resort studio today. If you're chilly, go play a round of golf at Dancing Rabbit. I promise you will not be cold at the end of that. But if you do need to cool off, you can take the family over to Geyser Falls. And then you can enjoy a fantastic meal at Philip M's. Everything you want to do for fun, they've got it at Pearl River Resort. C-Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 or the Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it, so don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by you.
Oh. Is it inspired by Bosnia and Herzegovina?
I know, but I believe they are still leading 1-0 over our neighbors to the north from Canada.
Good.
I was watching that. And I was watching that.
Good.
Your
Down
hatred,
with Canada.
Your hatred for the Canadians is duly noted.
Well, it is tough for the Canadians because I guess they're technically playing two countries on this, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Herzegovina. I think it's just one country. I don't know how it works.
Well, why don't they get the and in there?
I don't know. What's funny is they're just referred to as the Bosnians. Where are the Herzegovinians?
Where are the Herzegovinians?
Yeah, like what happened to those guys?
And,
we got Americans, we got Canadians.
Yeah, I don't understand the double country thing, like Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Are there Trinidadians and Tobogans? I don't know.
Well, Tobogans are hats.
Well, what do you call a person from Tobago?
I believe they're Tobaganians.
Oh, really?
I believe that's correct. I think there's an I-A-N
I can't spell half these words you've said.
No,
today.
it's fine. It's not a problem. We are going to talk some World Cup a little later in the show. I'll give you an actual preview of the World Cup. Some teams to look out for. Yeah. Some real live football talk. Plus, we'll have a little fun with it. I have a list of the top teams in the World Cup. I'm going to give you their college football equivalent a little later in the show.
Okay.
That's going to be a fun one, I think.
Because, like, the United States, I know, plays Paraguay?
Paraguay. Yes. Not Paraguay. Paraguay.
You know what they call a person from Paraguay? This is going to get me in trouble. You know what they call a person from Paraguay, don't you?
A Paraguayan?
A Nazi war criminal on the run. That's what
Oh.
That's where they went after the war.
I went to San Francisco recently, and coming out of a bar, I saw a Paraguay. See what we can all make jokes. It'll be fine. We got some great interviews lined up on today's show. In about 10 minutes, Noah Weisskopf is going to join us. He covers North Carolina for Tar Heels 24/7. So we'll get the look in at the Tar Heels. The team Ole Miss will be playing later on this evening. After that, we're busy today on the Farm Bureau guest line. Dr. Eddie Furness.
A learned doctor.
Yes, a man of science will join us. I'm interested to talk to him. Of course, his son Will had the big home run, has been playing for Ole Miss for the past few years. But, of course, Eddie was a star at LSU and has played in the College World Series himself. So I think that'll be an interesting conversation. In the 4 o'clock hour, we'll be joined by SuperTalk Mississippi News' Caleb Sailors, who is on site in Omaha, I believe. Is that correct?
No, he's actually in the kitchen right now. I saw him making a sandwich.
He's not in Omaha.
No,
I thought the whole thing was he's in Omaha, and we were going to talk.
No. It's all wrong.
Well, we'll talk to him anyway. He's a good enough guy. We'll talk to him. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, self-professed Huguenot Richard Cross will join the show to give us his thoughts on the Rebels. He was in Auburn last Saturday when the Rebels advanced to the College World Series. And, of course, he's a guy who knows a thing or two about baseball and politics. I might try to force a political question out of him,
Oh.
I have been on Gerard's show many times. I've been on Mornings with Richard Cross, never with Richard Cross, but on the show. But they never have me on to talk about politics. So maybe I need to grab the bull by the horns today and just be like, the economy. We don't all have your money, Richard. What should we do?
But knowing your politics, that's probably a reason why they haven't asked you about.
Well, I don't have any politics.
I don't know.
I'm not a political person. I'm very anti-political.
Anti-capitalist, too.
Are you being what?
Yeah.
I'm the guy who's like pro NIL. I'm pro NIL.
Every time I hear politics come out of your mouth, I hear Bernie Sanders. All right?
I am asking again. No, when we talk about NIL, I'm like, people say, I don't think they should have NIL. And I'm like, well, good for you, comrade.
Socialists.
That's not how it works. A man's allowed to profit off his own being. So be it. Hey, Dad, I had the day off today and I decided to watch the Canada-Bosnia game, and the pageantry is something else. I was cracking up when the dude did not even get touched and he fell to the ground pretending to be hurt. Well, Canada's greatest athlete did that all the time. His name was Bret the Hitman Hart. The Canadian crowd completely booed him, and I thought the flopping in the NBA was bad. I think I'm a fan now. Welcome aboard. Soccer has a little bit of physicality. Sometimes you get some guys that they'll take a shot, and there'll be some blood and you get all that. But, yes, there is the problem of the theatricality sometimes.
They have it.
Every now and then you get a bump that Shawn Michaels would be proud of out there. A guy just flat backs because somebody breathed on him. Yeah, exactly. And then they break out the spray. That's the worst thing ever. You ever seen the spray? It's this, cold spray. There's a famous meme of a guy getting it sprayed, in the Grand Canyon there. And it's just like, what's going on? Why was he hurt there? So, yeah, the cold spray. You gotta be careful with that. So the economy, what's up with that? That's a good question. Yeah.
The German guy who's going through, he was at Auburn. The guy who's making.
Oh yeah, Freddie.
Yeah,
he went through Louisiana.
Well, he went through Mississippi apparently.
Yeah,
I mean, to get
Gulf
to
Coast.
Alabama to Louisiana, you got to pass the landmass.
The landmass. Yeah, he went through. He got to tour the Saints practice facility, I believe.
Oh,
they brought him in. They brought him in for that, and now he's en route to the great state of Texas. If he thought Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana or something, I can't wait to see this guy in Texas. I can't wait to see how that goes for him there. So, should be a lot of fun. Over in Omaha, by the way, we have got a barn burner going in Game 1. It's in the middle of the 6th inning. West Virginia leading Troy 5-4. Good news for whoever wins this game between North Carolina and Ole Miss. You've got a couple of pitchers already being used by both teams. Got to assume some runs are going to continue, so could be a situation where you're facing a depleted bullpen.
Tell them how West Virginia scored their first run in the first inning.
They stole home
in the first inning.
That takes. They got a little,
mountaineer in them.
Yes. That's why a little put a little drink a little moonshine in the Powerade, and you get that kind of country courage right there. But since then, I mean, it's just been a lot of runs in this game. So 5-4 West Virginia leads in the first game of the College World Series, as I mentioned earlier. Ole Miss will get started is scheduled to get started at 6 o'clock against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Hey, Brian, are you going to the wrestling match at the White House? Well, first off, it's a UFC match, and secondly, no, I'm not. I was not invited. I don't think I have the money, and I'm not a member of the military, nor would I fit the physical description they're asking everybody to look like. They're like, if you aren't fit, don't show up, so I'll be at home. No, I'm not. I will not be attending. So, but it's also not wrestling. It's real fights.
Yeah,
it's UFC. Somebody
they ain't faking.
They are not. If there's one thing I know about Ultimate Fighting, there's no fakery there.
No.
If you tried to fake there, you will lose a limb. You'll have reconstructive surgery of the facial area in that situation. So we ought to try to get Freddie on the show for an interview. I don't know that we could do that. I don't know how to get in touch with him. I mean, I don't think he's taking Twitter DMs or anything.
He speaks German, right?
Yeah, I don't speak German. I don't even think I can do a German accent, you know.
Oh, German accent's easy.
Oh yeah, well, just give it to us then.
Schnell.
Schneider.
Schneider.
Yeah. Eins, zwei.
Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. Yeah. So, Germany. What's up with that?
What's going on there the past 80 years?
All right, when we come back, Noah Weisskopf, Tar Heels 24/7 joins us. Give us the preview for Ole Miss's opponent tonight and what they're going to be bringing to the College World Series. We're just getting started on a Friday with you here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Back in just a moment.
Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Sports Talk Mississippi. Yeah! On SuperTalk Mississippi.
We're back here on Sports Talk Mississippi, and we're back on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. We're going to Omaha, Nebraska. That's where Noah Weisskopf is. He covers North Carolina for Tar Heel 24/7. I've been saying this week that North Carolina has taken the mantle, or at least one of the teams, the best program in college baseball to not have a national title. How desperate is this North Carolina team to finally break through this year, Noah?
They are. You're right. I think the biggest thing for them is looking back to 2024 and seeing that they were here, weren't able to get the job done, and they still have a couple of guys that are big contributors for them that they're looking to lean on in Omaha this time around. So they are really confident in themselves, and they're really desperate to get a national title, which is pretty crazy to think when you see all the success that Carolina has had in their past. To think that they'd never actually won it is pretty wild. So yeah, you're right. They are pretty desperate, and they really want this to get it done this year.
So Ole Miss announces yesterday that they're going to go with Taylor Rabe. I don't know if you would call him the ace or not. Maybe it's Hunter Elliott, but Rabe has certainly pitched the best for the Rebels over the past month or so. North Carolina going with their ace, Jason DeCaro, a guy who has had a fantastic year. He's 11-2 on the season, ERA of 2.28. Batters are here only hitting 233 against him. We've got what appears on paper to be a really good pitching matchup. This first game seems to have a lot of offense, Noah, but I think the nightcap might be a lower scoring game. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty expected for Carolina fans and for us alike to expect that they would start Jason DeCaro. He is their ace, and he's coming off the best outing of his career with a complete game, 2-hit shutout against USC in that game, too, that they needed to win to stay alive in the Super Regional. So, yeah, pretty expected for them, but I agree. I think that, Carolina really prides itself on pitching, and I think Jason DeCaro sort of embodies that, and they're going to roll with their ace. They actually were going with Ryan Lynch, the first in the regionals and then Super Regionals. He ended up being their number one guy, their first guy given the opportunity, but now they're back to DeCaro for this Omaha College World Series.
What were the thoughts of the North Carolina fan base in that Super Regional? Because Southern Cal winning that first game in the fashion that they did, I thought, oh man, I think Carolina might really be in some trouble. But they bounced back. They played two really tough games and were able to advance. I feel like this team has faced a little adversity this postseason and has come out better for it. Do you agree?
I do. I think you're totally right. And look, I mean, they felt like after that first game, they were not nervous whatsoever. They were still extremely confident because take away one bad pitch in a grand slam and they're still in complete control of that game. They controlled the entire game until that grand slam. So they felt very confident moving forward that they were able to win 2 in a row. And so ultimately they were able to get that done, and they relied on some of their veterans that have been in Omaha before in that super regional round and getting them back there.
When you look at Carolina's batting order or their lineup, however you want to say it, from 1 through 7, there's not a guy that's the 20-plus home run guy, but you've got, from 16 to 7 all the way down. Everybody's got a little bit of pop in the bat. We all know about Owen Hull, one of the best hitters in college baseball, hitting almost 400 on the season. Who do Ole Miss need to be looking out for tonight in this lineup? Who can be a person to give North Carolina a big boost?
Well, I think it is Owen Hull. But outside of that, I think I look at a guy like Jake Schaffner at the top of their lineup, their shortstop, but also Gavin Gallagher is typically their 2-hitter. He's a second baseman for them. He's had immense postseason success. Most outstanding player in the regional round the last 2 years as a freshman and sophomore. And now he's going into his junior season back to Omaha. We were there for the 2024 season as well. So he's had a lot of success in the postseason. So I'm looking at him as one of the guys who sort of lift this team up with the experience already have already been in Omaha.
We talk about the park there in Omaha a lot. Charles Schwab Park, it has a reputation as a pitcher's park. Ball can still get out of there from time to time. Ole Miss is a big-time home run hitting team, especially when they do their damage when guys get on base from walks, from errors, from whatever, and then bam, it's a 3-run home run, and you're staring down the barrel a little bit. How does the North Carolina pitching staff match up with this Ole Miss batting order?
Well, I think that's going to be the matchup to watch, right? I talked to Scott Forbes yesterday and then a bunch of other players for their media day, and that was sort of the general theme. As I asked a lot of these guys, and I wrote on this today at Tar Heel 24/7 about how they feel this stadium can go to their advantage, because they are really good gap to gap, and they're not necessarily a power team. They're not necessarily going to hit the ball over the fence every time they get up to the plate, but they can hit gap to gap. They can hit singles, and the most important thing is what they can do is they can just keep going down the order, and they can keep relying on different guys. Their plate discipline, for the most part, has been pretty solid, so they're able to just get on base, move guys over, and get them in. So that's the matchup to watch, is to see how Jason DeCaro is able to use that field, that big Omaha field, to his advantage.
What do you think about this North Carolina team overall? Is this a team that you could see being the last team standing, a team that could come out of this side of the bracket and then go on to take down a Georgia or a Texas possibly in the College World Series final? Is this, in your opinion, a national championship caliber team?
I think so, and I think the biggest reason for that is they have a good mixture of guys that have never been here, but also guys that have been here. They have that veteran leadership for them. But I think the number one thing that I believe allows them to potentially run the table and go and win the whole thing this year is just solely because of the completeness of their entire lineup, right? And it's the fact that they've been resilient this year, and they've encountered some issues during the season. They especially in that USC series, I think is the biggest one, where they go down one game very quickly after that grand slam, and they're able to sort of gather themselves and go on and win 2 in a row in the way that they did. So I look at the mixture of like the veteran leadership versus the new guys here, but then also just the resiliency that they've shown over the last really month.
Well, when I looked at the betting favorites, I was kind of surprised to see North Carolina was the overall favorite to win the College World Series this year. Now, I'm sure part of that is because of the side of the bracket they're on. Having Georgia and Texas, Alabama, 3 of the top national seeds still remaining, plays a role in that. But are you surprised that North Carolina is the favorite to win this as we go into the College World Series?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of different betting odds, and they've been the favorites, and then I thought Georgia's the favorites, and I thought Carolina's like at 4th. So I don't even know at this point who is the favorite, who's not the favorite. But I think that it's fair to say that this can be Carolina's year just because of the reasons I mentioned before in terms of their resiliency that they've shown and their veteran leadership leading on a guy like Jason DeCaro. And their pitching staff outside of him has been really strong, too. It's not necessarily super deep. So that's the one thing that I think that day in between some of these games is really going to work for their advantage of being able to throw everything at the wall in game 1 against Ole Miss on Friday, and then have a day to sort of get some of those relievers rested and available again on Sunday.
You kind of hit on it. Is this pitching staff deep enough that if it goes badly today and you're into the losers bracket with North Carolina, are they deep enough to come out of that? Can they pitch a 4th or 5th guy to keep going?
I think that'll be a key topic of conversation if they fall to Ole Miss today. I think that if you get to that point, that's going to be something that's talked about a lot because honestly, their top has been really good in terms of their pitching staff. Jason DeCaro, Ryan Lynch, Caden Glauber, typically out of the bullpen, as well as Walker McDuffie. The four of those guys have been stellar for the better part of the entire season. But after that, it gets a little bit questionable with some guys like Soldier Boaz, and then maybe do you move some other guys around? I think that's going to be the big topic depending on how the game goes tonight.
One thing I always like to find is, like I said, we know who Hall is. We know who DeCaro is. Who's an X factor? Who's somebody that's sort of maybe down the lineup, down in the bullpen that could make a big impact for North Carolina today?
Yeah, I'll say Cooper Nicholson had really struggled in the postseason. He's their third baseman, transfer from Iowa Central Community College. He's from this area. He's been in person to Omaha before with his parents to watch this. So I think that's one that I'm really looking for because he's been waiting for this opportunity. This is the big reason as to why he transferred to Carolina was because of the opportunity to play in Omaha. So now that he's here, I'm looking to see what he can do. And he's actually their lead home run guy. So we'll see if he's able to clear the fence out there with not a bunch. I mean, they all have pop, but it's not necessarily, like I said earlier, a big power hitting team. They don't just hit for home runs. So I'd be curious to see how Cooper Nicholson performs. He's been in a slump in the postseason so far, but then ended up getting their rally really started with a walk in that last game against USC, and then came around to score. So I'm really excited to see what he can do at the bottom of their order.
We will see in about, 2.5 hours, assuming this game between West Virginia and Troy doesn't go 17 innings. They've now tied it up there, and a lot of runs on the board in that one. So whoever wins this game could be facing a pitching staff that's a little bit thinner than you would expect. Noah Weiskopf, Tar Heel 24/7, man. Really appreciate your time joining us from the College World Series, and talk to you again soon, hopefully.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Noah joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. As we were talking, Troy tied up the game in the top of the seventh on a solo home run. So it's now 5-5 between West Virginia and Troy in the bottom of the seventh. I mean, it's scheduled for a 6 o'clock first pitch for the Rebels and the Tar Heels, but
don't curse us.
What?
Ed.
Look, let me tell you something. You're already there, all right? Enjoy it. If you're there a little late, it'll be all right. All right? You'll live. You'll live. You got a baby. It's not like you're sleeping anyway. Get out of here with your crocodile tears. I'll have none of that. All right. We're going to keep it going from Omaha. Eddie Furness, one of the greatest college baseball players of all time at LSU, the father of Ole Miss starting first baseman Will Furness. So a great story and I think a great perspective of what's going on in Omaha. We'll talk to him on the Farm Bureau guest line when we come back. It's Sports Talk Mississippi, College World Series underway in Omaha. Back in just a minute.
From this,
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
this is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Going right back to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. If you've heard me talk about college baseball in my days as a student at Mississippi State, I've always said one thing, that the player that I feared the most when he would come to the plate was this man. Dr. Eddie Furness joins the show right now, a man who may have hit a ball. I don't know if it's still traveling in Starkville or not. It may have achieved a low orbit at least once or twice. And, Eddie, appreciate you joining us. I wanted to ask you if you can tell us, when you were in the College World Series as a player, you played at Rosenblatt. Now this at Charles Schwab Field. What's the difference in those two facilities, in your opinion?
So, hey, guys, thanks for having me on. Oh, it's really great, man. I'll tell you what, the atmosphere here, and I thought it was big when we were here in the 90s. I mean, I thought it was amazing. And, of course, college baseball has just gotten better over the last 30 years, and so is the field. So the field is like a new modern facility. I mean, it's a big league ballpark at this point, and the facilities are great. They got a concourse. And, of course, now I'm seeing it as a fan, which is different than a player, of course, but it's just a great facility. Big league infield, big league grass, big league turf, you name it, it's got it all.
When you played at LSU, Mike Bianco was one of the assistant coaches there for Skip Bertman. When he was your assistant, did you know at that time this was a guy who was going to become a very successful head coach?
Absolutely not. Of course, you don't even think that, right? He's just your coach, and he's an authority figure in your life. But then when after my senior year, he left to go to McNeese, and then I knew he was going to take the Skip Bertman system, right? Mm-hmm. And when he left, I was like, he's going to do something great. What I didn't realize is just a couple years after McNeese, he was going to take over the Ole Miss job and be there for the last 20 years and bring them from a kind of obscurity into national prominence in an elite program of blue blood. So it's been awesome to see.
What's that moment like as a dad where your son tells you, I'm going to go play at one of the schools that's your school's biggest rival?
Oh, you know what? It was great because I just truth is I just wanted him to play college baseball, and I didn't realize, at the time that he was going to be able to play SEC baseball and then go on. But man, I wanted it to be his story, his own journey. I didn't want to influence him at all. I didn't even go with him to some of the visits. So I just let him do it all. And when he, said, I want to do this, this, and this, I was like, are you sure? Kind of like when you're a kid and your teacher, you give the right answer and you say, are you sure? Mm. And, but he was sure. And I've enjoyed every minute of it.
It's one thing and I have kids, and my kids played sports at a very low level, and you watch the games, and you're just a nervous wreck in there, and you just want them to succeed so badly. But then there's someone like you who has those same emotions, but then you're watching your son at bat. My guess is, I guess I'll ask you: Are you looking at his at bats from the lens of a father or from the lens of a former hitter?
Well, it's funny you say that. Really, a former hitter, I'm thinking along with them. Mm-hmm. And it's just a habit. Like when I tell people I'm not a baseball fan, I'm a baseball player. Mm-hmm. And of course, as I get older, I'm turning into more of a fan. But I'm a baseball player first, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I'm watching at bats, I'm thinking along with them. I think, okay, look for this here. Oh, no, they just came high and in. They're going low and away. So I'm thinking along with it. But I've also kind of got this intuition about, okay, you know what? Will's about to get a hit here, and I can feel it coming, and the count's right. And so I actually just follow along with it. Now, when it actually happens, man, I'm jumping around like a 12-year-old kid when it happens. It's so fun.
Were you aware that he was about to hit a home run last Saturday when he knocked that ball out of the ballpark and set Ole Miss on this course for the College World Series?
Yeah, I called it. I was standing next to my wife, and I said, he's about to hit a home run between the batter's eye and the light pole. Now, I got the wrong location, but I just had a feeling.
That's got to be again, as a father, that's got to be in the top 2 or 3 moments that you'll ever have as a dad.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I need to post my heart rate monitor. It's going crazy. That whole game, especially when he hit the home run. Oh, man, it's fun. As a player, you have that control. And I swear my heart rate was a lot lower when I was playing because I had the bat in my hands. I knew, and when you have that control, it's a lot easier. But when you're watching your own kids or other people do it, oh, man, it's so much more stressful.
What do you want your son's College World, other than a national title, what do you want him to be able to take away from Omaha? What's something that you took away from Omaha that you'd like for him to be able to have?
Well, one is an appreciation and just being grateful to be able to do something that not everybody gets to do, and how fortunate you are. The other lesson is, that hard work doesn't always pan out. If you can do all the right things and work as hard as you want and work your hands to the bone, and it still doesn't work out. But when it does, it's such a beautiful thing. And I wanted him, first when he was a kid, I really wanted him to be a baseball fan, right? A fan of the game and love the game. And I think I succeeded in that because he just loves doing it. I mean, when in Nebraska, the loudest stadium I think I've seen, and I've been in a lot of them, and it was loud. And I just saw him at first base smiling and laughing because he was having fun in the moment, because baseball is beautiful. And that's what I really think, as a parent, is that when you have a kid who's going to just enjoying the moment and smiling when a hostile crowd of 8,000 people are yelling at you, that is such a good feeling.
Wanted to ask you about a couple of the other players on the team. How much does having a player like Hunter Elliott, who's been in Omaha before, was on that national championship team, has pitched in these big games, how much is having a guy like that in the locker room and on the bench and in the bullpen and on the mound, how much does that give Ole Miss?
Well, I tell you what, of course, in the 90s, and I think this has changed, but, in the 90s when we won ours, no team had ever gone to Omaha for the first time and won the World Series, right? And so the exception proves the rule. I think Coastal Carolina did it, but I don't know if anybody else has done it. And just having a team of guys who had been there before in the spotlight, in front of 20,000 people, in front of almost triple or quadruple the people you usually play in front of, the more cameras, it just makes a difference when a guy can say, hey, guys, the bases are still 90 feet. The mound is still 60 feet, 6 inches. The game, don't make the game bigger than it is. When you start to get out of control and your heart rate starts to elevate, is to relax. But having someone that's been there and done that, just like in the Army, when you have your veterans in charge of the troops and the privates, right? It makes a difference to have some experience there. And I think it's a huge deal to have one guy who's actually pitched in a national championship game in the clubhouse with you.
And then another guy, you hit some home runs in your day, as we all know. Judd Udemark, what do you think about him as a player?
I tell you what, man, he's got all the big league tools, the power, the speed. I mean, he's 6'5", he's 240 pounds, he runs a 6'5", 60. He can play center field, he can play second base, he can play third. He could probably catch if he wasn't so dang tall. And the ball jumps off his bat in a different way, right? And he's done and he's really improved over the course of 4 years. His swing and miss is down. He's just a dangerous hitter that can hit a home run at any time. It's really hard to pitch to him now. And so he's great to have in that lineup for sure.
Yeah, I made that joke a lot last year that Judd Udemark was the world's tallest second baseman. I had never seen a 6'5" second baseman before last season. You know what it takes to win a national title. You know what that what that looks like. Does this Ole Miss baseball team look like a national championship team to you?
I think they do in a lot of different ways. They have a couple of really great players, but they don't have any first-team All-Americans, right? They don't have any superstars, but their pitching staff is. I think they're unsung first-rounders, big league arms on the mound, and I think that's going to make a huge difference for them. And they've got that one swing away attitude. They just always feel like they're one swing away from being back in it when they're behind, and they don't let their foot off the gas. I think they can do it. But, and this as well as anybody, it takes so much good fortune. I could name probably 4 plays in just the last game where they don't make those plays or the ball is an inch too high and they don't win that game. So it takes a lot of good fortune in Omaha as well.
Yeah, I mean, baseball, just like any other sport, absolutely a game of inches. Eddie, really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man up there, and I know you want to enjoy yourself in Omaha. Appreciate you jumping on with us today, and good luck to Will and to the Rebels tonight.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Eddie Furness, father of Will Furness, and, of course, as I said, a absolute monster for the LSU Tigers back in the day. I never enjoyed watching an Eddie Furness at bat. Anytime he was playing against Mississippi State, I would just stare at him, just like, please no, please no, please. And if he got out, you're like, okay, thank God. He hit a home run. I'm pretty sure it was him. I went to a game in Hoover, and you've been to Hoover, right, Will?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you know that big speaker in center that's above the center field wall?
Mm-hmm.
He hit one off it. Just launch angle there was not a word we used back then, but we should have, because I remember seeing that ball go. We're just like, oh well, that's a home run for sure. All right, we'll be back on the Farm Bureau guest line quite a bit this show. As we said, Caleb Sailors will join us. Richard Cross will join us as we get you set for Game 1 between Ole Miss and North Carolina in the College World Series. Still 5-5 in Omaha right now, but West Virginia does have 2 on, second and third with 1 out in the bottom of the
Canadians have tied it up.
The Canadians have tied it up. 100 teams in 100 days. We're going to the West Coast when we come back.
What's happening? What the heck are you doing?
Sports Talk Mississippi on your radio and in the game. Sports Talk Mississippi.
A lot going on in sports for it to be June 12th. We've got in Omaha, West Virginia with a 2 RBI single in the bottom of the 8th. They now lead Troy 7-5. Only one out, so they're going to try to add to that lead, and Troy will try to see what they can do in the top of the 9th. In Canada, not exactly sure where this game is being played, but Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina are into 6 minutes of added time. The game is 1-1, so likely a draw.
Oh, you meant overtime?
No, there is no added time.
Oh, you mean overtime?
Added time. Added time. It's not overtime. It's added time.
The dumbest
I mean, it just
way of keeping time in a sport there is. Not even close.
I guess. Let's do 100 teams in 100 days.
This day is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This day is bananas.
100 teams in 100 days.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! It's the final countdown.
Team number, I got to bring up the thing, 78, the Fresno State Bulldogs.
Oh, they're a little late.
Of all the teams named Bulldogs, Fresno State is one of them. Of course, that is the alma mater of some guy who used to coach around here. I don't know too much about him. But Fresno State, a season ago, if I could get this website to work for me the way I wanted to, they were 9-4. Pretty good team last year. Lost to Kansas in the opener, but then reeled off 5 straight wins over Georgia Southern, Oregon State, Southern, Hawaii, Nevada. They lost a game to 2-10 Colorado State. That could have been a special season for the Bulldogs had they not lost that one. But then follow that up with a loss to San Diego State. But then finished strong, won 4 of their last 5 games against Boise, Wyoming, San Jose State, and then beating Miami of Ohio in the Arizona Bowl to finish the season 9-4. Fresno State this season, looking ahead, has got, pretty much the same kind of schedule that you would expect. But they do have an interesting opening game. They'll open up with USC. Now, when I think Fresno State USC, I think we all think the same thing. That's the game where Reggie Bush had that ridiculous run against them. So that's my first thought. So we'll see what happens there. Sacramento State on September the 12th. Then Fresno State will travel to San Jose State. Do you know the way to San Jose? I hope Fresno does. They'll host Rice, go to the Palouse to take on Washington State, host Boise, go to San Diego State, San Diego. Drink it in. Oregon State comes to Fresno on Halloween night. They'll travel to Utah State on November 7th, travel to Texas State, the newest member of the Pac-12, the new Pac-12, on November 14th, and they'll finish the year with a matchup with the Colorado State Rams on November the 21st. Who is the head coach of the Fresno State?
Matt
Ince. He sounds like he's part of like an industrial techno bar. Exactly. So make sure you clip that. That needs to go out amongst the world.
Sneaky good football program.
Fresno, for years, has been a quality football program. They find their way in and out of the games. As you might imagine, it's a seafood restaurant in Fresno, out there on the West Coast. We're going to Pismo's. What is the name of this place exactly? Pismo's Coastal Grill.
Oh.
How much do you think a dozen oysters costs at Pismo's?
I'm going to say $28.
You are going to not even get a half dozen oysters. You're going to get a half dozen for $23. It's $41 for a dozen oysters.
You can keep them.
Well, if we ever go out to Fresno, Richard's paying the tab. I tell you, this place doesn't look bad, though. They got a lot of great appetizers. They got to charge for the bread, though. Sourdough bread, $7.50.
They charge for bread?
Charging for bread. They got 3 kinds of chowder. I didn't know there were 3 kinds. I knew there were 2. At the classic white, the spicy red, or the Rhode Island clear. I don't want a clear.
Wait. Rhode Island?
Rhode Island clear.
Fresno, California.
It's clam chowder. It's a recipe. They got fresh clams, but it's a Rhode Island recipe.
Okay.
And then they got the big. You can get a whole pot of cioppino, which I've always enjoyed as a big. You ever had cioppino?
No.
It's a fish stew. They throw everything in there: fish, mussels, clams, shrimp, lobster. It's all. Oh no, you're wrong. It's delicious. It's Italian. They know what they're doing. They got a bunch of different seafood pastas. You can get fish and chips. If you want a steak or a burger, they got you taken care of there as well, and a huge variety of grilled seafood at Pismo's. You're going to spend some money. All right, hold on now. Peanut butter pretzel pie for dessert. All right, now. See, we reeled him back in. We got him back in. Will's back in.
You have my attention.
All right. If you're ever in Fresno, California, enjoy a fine meal at Pismo's Coastal Grill and tell them that Hey Dad and Willie sent you. When we come back, football, the World Cup. My preview when we return. Back in just a minute. Starting the 4 o'clock hour here on Sports Talk, Mississippi.
Let's go to the junction, in the Grove, and to the top.
Don't hurt yourself.
Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi. The weekend is here, which means you're probably going to be out mowing your grass tomorrow. You should anyway. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy in the neighborhood who's like, when's he going to mow his grass? People you drive by, you run by his house, you're like, come on, man. Don't be that guy.
Although that guy makes your yard look that much better.
Maybe he has maybe in the ecosystem of the neighborhood, maybe he does have a role, but you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be him.
That's right. You don't want to be him.
Right. What you want to be is the guy driving that brand new John Deere compact tractor or John Deere zero-turn mower that you got at Ag Up. That's the guy you want to be. So why don't you be that guy and go visit one of Ag Up's 15 locations throughout the state of Mississippi. Great deals, great financing are going to be available to you. 15 locations means it's not that far from wherever you are in our great state. Or you can just go to agup.com and just do it all online. Stop by your local Ag Up equipment. Visit agup.com. Ag Up and John Deere, built for what's next. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi is the World Cup right now. We'll talk to Caleb Sailors in a few minutes. We're going to break our World Cup coverage into two. We're going to break it. We're going to have a middle thing where Caleb will come in. But
we're going to stop talking about Curacao and New Zealand.
We probably aren't going to talk very much about those two teams. I got to be totally honest with you. The World Cup is upon us. 3 games have already been played. In the first game, Mexico got the win over South Africa in a game that had 3 red cards. There were only 4 red cards in the entire tournament in 2022. So we're off to a fantastic start. Let's go. Let's have all that.
And you get the red card when you do something really egregious.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of like targeting. You've been kicked out of the game.
Okay, all right.
You
it's
with me?
ill-defined and used at times.
Well, no, the red card you normally know.
Really?
You'll see it and you're like, okay, he's got to go in that one. Last night, South Korea beat Chechnya. Used to be Czechoslovakia, but then they split it in 2.
Then it was Czech Republic, right?
Yeah, but now it's Chechnya.
They got to get their names.
I don't have any. The Eastern Europeans are their own thing. They won that game 2-1, and then just a few minutes ago, our first draw of the tournament between Canada and Bosnia-Herzegovina. None of the big-name teams have really played as of yet. If you look on DraftKings, their betting favorite is Spain. Spain is so good that the best goalie in the world plays for them, but doesn't play for them. He won't start. David Raya, who's the goalkeeper for Arsenal, unbelievable player. He won't start. They also have the probably the best young player in the world, Lamine Yamal, who plays on the right wing for them. He is, as Messi and Ronaldo are kind of fading out and their career coming to an end, he will be the next guy to sort of take that. He plays for Barcelona. He's a very similar, great, exciting young player. Somebody to
you Lamine one of them. You
Lamine Yamal. Yeah, I absolutely. France is second favorite at plus 475. Won the World Cup in 2018. Finished second last time out to Argentina. They have an incredibly talented team. Kylian Mbappe, probably the best pure scorer in the world. Ousmane Dembele, the current Ballon d'Or winner. Ballon d'Or is kind of like the MVP. You're the best player in the world if you win that. Just stacked everywhere. Ryan Cherky plays for Manchester City, who's a really fun player to watch. If you said you gave me $100 and said bet on somebody, I would bet on France. I think
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu, les Bleus. They are a fantastic team. England is plus 750. This is really feeling like if it's not now, it's when's it going to be? England, every year they think this is their year, and every year they're wrong. It never works out for them. But they have the best striker in the world up top in Harry Kane, who now plays for Bayern Munich. They have some great players. They left out some big names from their team, guys who you thought would have been on that team. Phil Foden from Manchester City, Cole Palmer from Chelsea, two of the best attacking wingers and midfielders in the world. They're not on the squad, but they have a lot of depth. This is a very experienced team. They're bringing back a lot of guys who've played in previous World Cups, and having Kane up top kind of gives them a little
like
bit.
The Ole Miss of.
So we're going to get to that a little later. I did not make the comparison there, but I would say that's not the case because England is the team every year that people think is going to win. And they never do. You'll see where I go for them.
Okay, all right.
A little bit from now. The Brazilians at plus 950. I mean, it's Brazil. What can you do? It's super talented, super exciting team. They have one of the best coaches in world soccer, in Carlo Ancelotti, who's won Champions Leagues with different, he's with a number of teams. He's coached in England and Spain and Italy and France, and now he's the Brazilian national coach.
Enchilada? That's all I heard. Enchilada. That's all
Ancelotti. He's Italian. Come on. Don Carlo. Show some respect. Portugal is plus 800. I was just going to bring this up, and Argentina is plus 1,000. This is going to be the last World Cup for a lot of the superstars of the game. Lionel Messi, this will be his last one. Cristiano Ronaldo, this will be his last one. Manuel Neuer, the keeper for Germany, who is one of the greatest of all time, his last one. Kevin De Bruyne, the midfielder for Belgium, this will be it for him. Neymar in Brazil. These are going to be the last time out for these guys. So this is a new generation of superstars are coming, but this is going to be the last hurrah for them. Portugal are a very sneaky team this year because Ronaldo has been carrying that, he's been the superstar for that team, for that nation for, 2 decades now. He's got a really interesting and good team behind him, a couple of great midfielders in Bruno Fernandes and Vitinha. That's a team that last 2022, Messi finally got his World Cup. It was like the one thing lacking on the resume. Could this be Ronaldo's turn? I don't know if it will be or not, but that's one I've definitely got an eye on. Germany is plus 1,400. I just don't see it with the Germans this year. They don't have that superstar goal scorer that they've had in years past. They don't have that same defensive identity they've had in years past. Neuer is getting up there a little bit, so he's not the brick wall that he was, the past 10, 15 years. They are a team that you don't want to play, but you can beat them, if that makes sense. So and that's another. When we get to our comparisons, you get there. Now you're starting to get into some big numbers here. Plus 2,000 for the Netherlands. Of course, you remember the Netherlands are who eliminated the Americans in the 2022 World Cup. A country that is, one of the best in the world, but has never won the World Cup. I don't think this is their time, though. Their golden generation has kind of come and gone, and they're trying to figure out the next generation of their great players. Probably not going to be there this year. Norway is plus 3,000. I like Norway for one reason and one reason only. They have Erling Haaland, an absolute cyborg of a goal scorer. Look, I'll just tell you this. You find a picture of Erling Haaland and look him up, and now picture 500 of them getting off the boat in Iceland and wonder why the Vikings were able to conquer the world. What a stud. That guy
like
is
Dolph Lundgren.
Yes, 6'4"
with long hair.
Yes, he is a monster. You don't want any piece of that guy.
I've seen this guy before.
I'm sure you have. He's the most famous goal scorer. He scores goals. That's his job. He once scored 7 in one game for Norway. He puts the ball in the back of the net. Norway is going to be a very interesting team to watch. They've missed the World Cup the past few years, but now they have him. They have Martin Odegaard, who starts for Arsenal. That guy gives them a chance in every game. If you get the ball to him, he can put the ball in the back of the net.
If I was defending a castle and that guy comes screaming up there with an axe, I'm done. That's it. You can have it.
Yeah.
No wonder they did that.
Then we start getting into some other, Colombia's plus 5,000, always a quality team. The USA is plus 6,000. So, we talked about that yesterday. For those who don't know, if you are a betting person, if you're not a betting person, plus 6,000 means if you put $100 down, you'll win $6,000. If the Americans are able to win the World Cup. Here's the thing: that's not going to happen. Michael Borky is not here to try to tantalize you guys with talk about how the Americans can do this and do that. Brian Haydad is here to tell you, a guy who watches soccer every week, not just when it's the World Cup, to tell you that the Americans can get out of the group. They'll beat Paraguay tonight, I believe.
Isn't most of this being played in the United States of America?
Well, all of America's games will be played in America, yeah.
Isn't President Trump president?
He is president, yes. That is correct.
Okay. Just saying. Anything's possible, baby.
Look. There's only one issue with what you're saying. If you're saying that Trump would go to corruption to try to get this, there's no one more corrupt than FIFA. All right, if anyone can out-corrupt him, it's FIFA. They'll out-corrupt anybody. The mafia looks at FIFA and go, we don't mess with those guys. All right. I think the Americans get out of the group. I don't think they win it. I think my final four, I don't know exactly how it's all going to line up, but I'll just say I think France will be in the final. I think they'll win it. But Portugal is my dark horse. I don't know if the fourth favorite. I don't really know if the dark horse is the right word. But I could see Ronaldo finally getting the chance to hoist the World Cup. All right, we're going back to baseball when we come back. Caleb Sailors from SuperTalk News will join us to talk about this Ole Miss baseball team. And then after that, back to the World Cup. I've got comparisons. College football teams to World Cup teams. I think we'll have some fun with that. Back in a minute. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sounds good.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
We're back here on Sports Talk Mississippi. I'm Brian Haydad. Will East is in Studio X, as is this man, Caleb Sailors, Super Talk Mississippi News. Caleb, I did request that you do the entire interview in the news voice.
All right, Brian Haydad, we're here live in the Super Talk studios.
I can do that. Caleb, thanks for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. I've been asking this question of different people all week. You were at the series in Oxford between Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. And, leaving that series, I don't think anybody would have put a lot of money down for Ole Miss and their chances to get to Omaha, but that's exactly what they did. Where did this season turn for the Rebels for you?
In my opinion, honestly, this will probably make some of the listening audience laugh. I think it was in a game against Kentucky. Ole Miss is losing in that series, and this would have been the series loss against Kentucky. Daniel Pasella, of all people, who hasn't had a really good year for Ole Miss, hits a grand slam, and Ole Miss kind of gets some life sparked back into it, ends up winning that game, ends up winning that series, and it was a big series win for Ole Miss because it kind of catalyzed what was to come. But I think that moment right there, because that team was dead in the water, the pitching was kind of lackluster, but good enough to win games, but they could not hit. I think another moment too, Haydad, was Judd Utermark hitting a big home run against Florida after Ole Miss had gone 15 straight innings without scoring. So there's a couple of turning points in the season. I think you could look at either of those, but those are two big moments that kind of rejuvenated this team.
The Florida series statistically has one of my favorite weird statistics of all time where it's like Ole Miss trailed for 17 innings in the final 2 games, but won. Yeah, they won the series somehow. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. One thing it's been interesting about Ole Miss this year is you come into the season with Hunter Elliott as your established number 1 guy, and then about a month into the season, Cade Townsend was kind of that number 1 guy, was pitching really, really well. He gets injured. He's been good since he came back from injury, but he hasn't been at that same level. And then somewhere along the way, Taylor Rabe became that number 1 guy. I don't ever remember a team having that kind of flux at the top of the rotation. Of course, Rabe going for the Rebels tonight. How has that balance been struck between those 3 guys?
I think Mike Bianco said it best last weekend. I was there in Auburn when Ole Miss swept through the Super Regional. He said, this season we wouldn't have the success we've had without Joel Mangrum. I think the way Joel Mangrum has really tinkered with these pitchers, Rabe specifically, a guy that was a mid-relief guy last year who was okay, not great, and people didn't really get the warm and fuzzies when he'd come out to the mound last year, but the way Mangrum developed him, I think the balance there has been, Bianco having to just trust his guys. Obviously, he's rolled with Hunter Elliott on Fridays up until now. I mean, now we know Taylor Rabe's going to get the start for Ole Miss tonight, but I really do think it's just Joel Mangrum, whatever he's doing, whatever that workout regimen, whatever the development day by day looks like, that's kind of been the catalyst for these pitchers really growing into what they are now. And even through the struggles, you see Hunter Elliott wasn't really great last week against Auburn, but did enough to get Ole Miss to a position where they could win that game. And a lot of that had to do with the defense behind him, turning a couple of double plays, Auburn only getting 1 run after having bases loaded twice. And so, they've done a lot of good things in the field as well. But pitching-wise, it's just, I don't know, man. These guys are just gritty.
Yeah. And another thing to add, we've talked about the starting pitching there, but Walker Hooks has become more than what he was. I knew that he was a good reliever, but he has become really a guy that when he comes into the game, there's a little bit of it's going to be really tough for the opponent to get back into the game when he comes into the game. His development has been another key for Ole Miss in this postseason.
I think there's a collective. I remember I was, again, like last week at Auburn, I saw Walker Hooks running out to the mound, and I had gone from where the media seating was over to the Ole Miss section because I wanted to get some videos if Ole Miss ended up winning that game, which they did, of the fans and the reaction, the players and all that. And you could feel the tension there. Like, oh gosh, this Auburn team could come back at any given point and they could still backdoor this thing. But when Walker Hooks ran onto the field, there was like a collective sigh of relief. Everybody's like, oh, we're good. We can go ahead and start celebrating. Now, things got a little hairy. Auburn got a run and had a chance to take the lead there. But he did what guys like him have done all season. He just showed up in that big moment. But hey, Dad, the development of Walker Hooks has probably got to be, maybe other than Taylor Rabe, has to be the biggest storyline of this Ole Miss team this season. A guy that, you could tell he had a decent mound presence last year, but would give up runs, give up hits. The comfort was there. It's just the stuff necessarily wasn't there. I mean, he was topping out at 89, maybe 90 miles an hour. Now he's throwing his fastball 95 from the left side, which is pretty good for a guy that's 6'5", as a long release. And his off-speed stuff has been good this year too, but it's the killer instinct that he's had. Like, it doesn't matter if he's in a 3-1 count. Like, he's still going to try to mow you down. What, in your opinion, is the biggest similarity for this team to the 2022 national championship team, and what's the biggest difference between them? I'm gonna kind of copy Hunter Elliott here. The team has really good camaraderie. That's what he was saying when asked about that. The on-the-field similarities are a little bit different. I mean, this team was in the conversation of being a host, when we got to the postseason. That 2022 team got in by the skin of its teeth. And so that's one difference. But the similarity is these guys genuinely like each other. And there's really good leadership on this team, too. You see guys like huddling around each other in the dugout. You see them actually out in the community together, eating together, bowling together, doing things together as a team. And so there really is this sense of like, hey, we're doing this together. We're in this together. We don't want this next game to be our last game. It feels like the winner of this game tonight has, I don't want to say an easy path because you're in Omaha and anything can happen, but West Virginia was the 16 seed. That's who you're going to play if you win. That game just went final. West Virginia beating Troy 7-5. Georgia and Texas, they're on the other side of the bracket. It feels like the winner of this game tonight is going to be playing in the national championship final. How
if it doesn't go right for Ole Miss, how good do you feel about their chances to come out of the losers bracket and still get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, it gets tough after that. I mean, Ole Miss does have the front end pitching to get through the losers bracket, but some guys are going to, if Ole Miss loses tonight, which is very plausible, North Carolina's pitching an incredible pitcher and has a really strong team and had to go through a hellish regional and then super regional to get to this point. But, if Ole Miss does lose tonight, I mean, it's going to be a tall task. You're going to have guys like Will Libbert step up and pitch meaningful innings.
In Auburn, he stepped up big time. Or not in Auburn, in the regional,
right,
against Arizona State. Yeah.
Right, he did, and gave Ole Miss a few scoreless innings that we were all like, where the heck has this guy been all season? But they're going to need guys like that to step up. They can't rely, on Hudson Calhoun to give them 4 or 5 innings in relief every single game. That's not plausible. They're going to need maybe even some of the younger guys in that bullpen to step up too, but also the bats are going to have to get hot. They can't rely on boom or bust. They can't rely on, Judd Utermark to bail them out with a 3-run home run or Will Furnace to hit, a late 2-run home run to kind of put a super regional away. They're going to need guys like Hayden Federico to continue having a hot bat, Braden Randall to continue getting on base. Colin Reuter actually stepping up in that DH role. Ole Miss is going to need guys playing their best baseball at the right time if they happen to lose tonight. Even if they win, I mean, guys are still going to have to step up. You've seen this before, hey, Dad, with all those Mississippi State teams in the College World Series. I mean, guys, there has to be an unsung hero in every single College World Series run.
So does this, getting back to Omaha for the third time in his career and doing it with this team, the team that didn't have big expectations coming into the season, are we forever done with the, Mike Bianco hot seat stuff? This has got to be like he's the coach now, and when he wants to retire, that's fine by us.
Yeah, and we might be getting a Swayze Field at Mike Bianco Stadium situation at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
No, this kind of sealed off all those conversations on, oh yeah, time to fire Bianco, time to move on from Bianco. No. He is the Ole Miss head baseball coach as long as he wants to be now. I mean, and I think that was kind of the sentiment after 2022. 2023, people were ticked off, but it's like, whatever. We won the championship a year before. We could deal with one bad year, but then it spilled into 2024. But then last year he kind of had that resurgence. But now I think if they go on a big run, I mean, even now getting to Omaha is a big enough deal. But if they go on a run, even end up in the championship series, that the conversations of moving on from Bianco are none at that point. It goes from him moving into retirement and getting in the athletic department somewhere.
Yeah. If you see the timer there, we only got about a minute and a half here. If this team gets to that national championship series and it's Georgia or Texas on the other side of that, can the Rebels win?
Yeah, the Rebels can win. I mean, the Rebels had Georgia dead to rights earlier in the year. Now, Texas wasn't so much the case, but I would not bet on the Rebels to win that.
No. That Texas, that first game against Texas, though, if you get a repeat of that, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Caleb, appreciate it. We'll probably have you back on next week. Keep us going here because I doubt Borky's paying attention to anything. He's all locked in on Team USA. He won't. He's not a true rebel like you are.
Well, I'll be keeping us covered at SuperTalk.fm, so keep up with your Ole Miss coverage there.
Absolutely. SuperTalk, SuperTalk News, SuperTalk.fm, SuperTalk TV, your SuperTalk stations. Find Caleb. He's got everything you need to know about this College World Series. Caleb, man, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Haydad.
All right. When we come back, we go back to the World Cup. What team is what team? We're going to do a little fun comparison. I think it's fun. If you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. I did the best I could. Back in just a minute. Sports Talk Mississippi here with you on a Friday afternoon. We're about an hour and a half away from first pitch in Omaha between Ole Miss and North Carolina as the Rebels begin the College World Series.
From this,
Take the friggin' wax out of your ears. Did you hear me?
this is Sports Talk. Sports Talk, Mississippi.
Woo! What do you say, sports fans?
Now, here's more on Super Talk Mississippi.
I am wearing black. Sports Talk Mississippi here with you on a Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us here in the Pearl River Resort Studios. I'm Brian Haydad. Will East spinning the tunes for us here on a Friday. C Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. All right, back to the World Cup. Everybody likes to do comparisons. Everybody likes to do this, that, and the other. So I came up with mine. I got a small list here. I didn't go all the way through. I wasn't going to try to be like, this team is Bowling Green. I didn't want to go to Curacao is Bowling Green. No chance.
I guess Turkey would be that. Bowling Green contains no green, and Turkey contains no turkey.
I mean, I'm sure somewhere in the city of Bowling Green there's some grass. There is some green there.
But Bowling Green,
yeah,
they don't have a bowling team either.
Do you know that for a fact?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Vanderbilt.
I looked it up at one point, I think.
Bowling Green University
bowling team. I'm not talking about.
You are wrong. Well, it's a club sport.
Yeah, that intramural crap don't count.
Go play intramurals, brother. All right. This is what I came up with. Brazil. In Brazil, they come out of the womb kicking a soccer ball. All right. That is it's not a pastime. It is an obsession. Where in this great country of ours is football the most of an obsession? Texas. Brazil is Texas. Brazil and the Longhorns. No? Why not?
Hasn't Brazil won a championship in recent memory?
Well, their last World Cup championship was it's been longer than Texas.
Okay.
Texas last won the national title in 2005. I don't remember the last time Brazil won one. The last time they got to the World Cup final. Oh, it was the semifinals. They lost 7-1 to Germany. That was a bad, and that was in Brazil. Imagine if LSU comes to Oxford on September 19th and it's 49-0. That's what we're talking about there. That was a bad day to be a Brazilian. I got Texas.
All right.
Germany. They just pound you, man. They're brutal. They're just like a hammer, right, over and over again. But they just. Like I said earlier, they just don't seem to have it. You know, they won the World Cup in 2014. In 2018, they didn't make it out of the group. And last time out, 2022, they just don't have. They aren't the same team they used to be. They're Alabama. Many championships in the past, but what does the future hold for Germany? I don't know. I don't know with that one. So, for France. As I said earlier, super, super talented. Maybe the most talented team in the tournament. Top from front to back, they have superstars. They got a bunch of 5 stars at every position. They're the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay. When France loses, I'm surprised. When Georgia loses, I'm surprised. From a talent perspective, they probably shouldn't lose to anybody, but sometimes they lose. So
usually they surrender. So.
Well, it's a little different in this situation. I made Spain, Ohio State. Again, super talented, but a little more flair. They play with a little more panache. You think about all those great Ohio State wide receivers over the last decade. Spain has had players like that. Guys, they put the ball in the net. They play a fun style. They're exciting. They score a lot of goals.
Just crushing teams. Monster teams, just crushing them like Purdue and Northwestern, just crushing them and stacking up them yards.
Ohio State did win a national title 2 years ago. I just want to point that out.
After beating teams like, Wisconsin, who's been historically terrible the past couple of years.
I'm just saying. They did win the national title. So, yeah, I gave Spain to Ohio State. For England, team that probably should win a lot more than they have, and they haven't won.
Oh, I know who it is.
Who is it?
Texas A&M.
I thought about Texas A&M, but I went with Michigan. Michigan won a national title 2 seasons ago, and people think about Bo Schembechler, he won 5 national titles. He didn't win any.
No.
He didn't win any. And so, every year Michigan fans, this is our year, this is our year, this is our year, and it never was until it finally was. Now, granted, they had to.
Well, even when they won one with Lloyd Carr, it was a half of one because they had to share it.
It wasn't anything. So they had to finagle some things to get that national title with Harbaugh. There may have been some shenanigans involved.
Yeah.
But they did get it. Maybe this is England's year, so we'll see. Maybe there'll
Michigan
be
had Connor Stallions. England had colonialism. There we go.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
We're doing all the stereotypes today.
We really are. All right. Argentina, the defending champs. This team I'm comparing to them is not a defending champ, but what I went with this. Argentina has Lionel Messi, all right? That's the guy who gets the most eyeballs. That's the guy that everybody's watching, everybody's interested in, everybody wants to know what he's going to do. Argentina's LSU. Because LSU has the guy right now that everybody's watching, everybody's interested in. And when he speaks, people listen to him. Whether you believe him or not, you listen to him. Kiffin and Messi. Messi is the GOAT of world football. Kiffin is the GOAT of being weird.
And retweets.
And subtweets.
Yeah, lots of subtweets.
Lots of subtweets. And perhaps some other things. If the Lanestein files ever get opened up, I don't know. We'll see if that happens. I talked earlier about Portugal, the team that has not gotten it done yet. Super talented every year, but they just find a way to not get over the hump. They're Oregon.
Yes.
Even to the point where they wear green.
Okay.
They wear green. They have flashy uniforms. But Oregon each and every year, super talented. You think this is the year. Finally, this is the year for the Oregon Ducks, and it never is. So to that end, I got them there. I got Oregon as Portugal.
All right.
I stole this one earlier from Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports, but it's a good one. The United States of America. We're Boise State. Like, good enough to win against the teams that are on the same level as us, not good enough against the big boys. All right?
Occasionally we beat in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Every now and then. I mean, the United States has beaten Spain, has beaten Portugal once, but by and large, those games, they go the way. I thought about saying that the United States is Dan Mullen's Mississippi State. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They do not beat the teams they are not supposed to beat. Simple as that. So they'll run through the group. They'll be fine. They're probably not going to get out of the first round of the knockouts. That's just the way that it goes. So yeah, I got them as Boise State. And then for a little local flavor, I have Ole Miss as Croatia. Now, hear me out. Just not Croatia is not the nation you think of when you think of dominant teams. They are really, really good year in and year out, and they've got an old guy in Luka Modric. He's playing his last World Cup as well. One of the great midfielders of all time. I don't know if he ever had tonsillitis, but this is his last year, and this was Trinidad Chambliss's last year. So I thought Chambliss as Modric. Modric is a guy, small. You don't necessarily think of him as like this dominant physical presence, but man, he knows how to play the game. You can't get the ball off of him. Trinidad Chambliss is very similar to Luka Modric.
They got the same colors?
Red, white, and blue, exactly. I don't know if what their chant is. Hodi todi. I don't know if that's what it is or not. But so, and then for Mississippi State, kind of going back to what we talked about earlier. Now it's a little different because Erling Haaland has proven a lot. He's won a lot. He's won Champions Leagues. He's won Premier Leagues. But he is a physical force, a dominant athlete. I think that can be Kamario Taylor for Mississippi State. I said Mississippi State is Norway. Nobody's going to predict Norway to win the World Cup, but nobody wants to play Norway either. And I think Mississippi State could have a little bit of that this year because I think teams are going to say, we're better than them, but they got that guy. They got this 6'4", 235-pound tank back there in the backfield that we really just don't want to have to contend with. So I said Mississippi State would be Norway.
Okay.
So we got a little Viking going on here in Starkville. Somebody says the USA is Notre Dame. No. Notre Dame played for a national title 2 years ago. Notre Dame can beat the big teams. I don't think so. No.
You sure LSU's not Iran?
Maybe in this state. Maybe in this state. Iran has the Strait of Hormuz. At LSU with Kiffin, it's just the Strait of Horny. If I can make you snort, I know I've done a good job. Argentina could have also gone with Texas with Arch Manning. It could have. I'm the Stephen A. of soccer. No, I'm not! All right, when we come back to 100 teams in 100 days, we go to the Sun Belt. Kelso, if you're listening, get ready. Your boys are coming up. Back in just a minute here on Sports Talk Mississippi. We're getting ready to start the 5 o'clock hour.
To Sports Talk Mississippi.
Are you ready?
On the SuperTalk app, supertalk.fm, and always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station.
All right, back on Sports Talk Mississippi. I'm Brian Haydad, Will Easton, Studio X. 100 teams in 100 days. We go to the Sun Belt. See our friends at James Madison.
Oh. Sorry, wrong James Madison. I got the founding father, James Madison. My bad. I'm so sorry. I'll let me pull up the right one. My bad. Here we go.
It's got some pizzazz to it.
Just like James Madison did.
Yeah.
He was a fine dandy.
100%. James Madison in the college football playoff a season ago, 12-1 on the year. Their only loss in week 2 to the Louisville Cardinal. They lost 28-14. Beat Liberty, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Louisiana, Old Dominion. Beat a 10-win Old Dominion team, 63-27. Texas State, Marshall, Appalachian State, Washington State, Coastal Carolina. Beat Troy 31-14 in the Sun Belt Championship, and then, of course, lost 51-34 to the Oregon Ducks in the first round of the college football playoff. Their coach, Bob Chesney, moving on. He's at UCLA now. Who do they bring in? Well, here's a little thing I want to tell you. If your name is, Pepperoni Joe, you must eat a lot of pizza. If your name is, Salami Bob, you might eat a lot of salami. If your name is, Frizzy Hair Joe, probably got frizzy hair. If your nickname is Sunbelt Billy, might make sense to go back and coach in the Sun Belt. Billy Napier, the head coach at James Madison, I have no doubt he'll be successful. I think the Sun Belt is where he belongs. He'll be fine there. They'll be right back in the conversation to win the Sun Belt this year and possibly make their way into the college football playoff. If everything goes well for them. There's their schedule real quick. First game of the year against Liberty. That'll be a fun one to watch. Then Wagner. They're at San Diego State, at Old Dominion, host Marshall, at Georgia Southern, host Georgia State, at Appalachian State, host Troy, and then they'll be in Hattiesburg on November 5th, take on the Golden Eagles. Finish the year at UConn, and then a host against Coastal Carolina. James Madison, number 77 team in the top 100. It's 100 teams in 100 days. The number one restaurant, according to our friends at TripAdvisor. Nothing fancy, nothing too much. In Harrisonburg, West Virginia, you're going to Grilled Cheese Mania.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It is. It started as a food truck, but now they've got a stand-up restaurant. This is where we've got a few here that, first off, the Jersey Boy, New Jersey pork roll, fried egg, and American cheese grilled on a roll. Sounds pretty good. The McWilliams Buffalo Chicken Cheddar Melt, a whole chicken breast, fried, glazed with buffalo sauce, and topped with cheddar cheese. I like that. They got the Maniac, a double-decker grilled cheese with provolone, cheddar, bacon, pepperoni, tomato, bread and butter pickles, peppers and onions, honey barbecue potato chips, and macaroni and cheese piled up in high, grilled with butter on 3 slices of sourdough bread. Sounds delightful. But Will, if you and I are ever in Harrisonburg and we have to go to Grilled Cheese Mania, we're getting the Sweet Moochie, a grilled glazed donut, topped with cheddar cheese, crispy bacon, and a fried egg. A grilled bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich with a donut for the bread. Yeah.
I can feel my aorta clogging up with
right
joy.
Here.
Oh.
Dr. Cato, my cardiologist, he just heard me say that. He's like, you got to come in for an appointment now.
I get them stuck right here.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's one of those things. You eat that and you're going to take a nap. Like, don't eat that and then schedule anything for the rest of the day. You're taking the rest of the day off. I will say this. Gives me a little concern. They make a homemade mac and cheese, and they say it blend of cheeses, milk, cream with a hint of nutmeg.
I like that hint of nutmeg.
I don't know. Nutmeg is for eggnog and Christmas desserts. I don't know so much about my mac and cheese getting a little nutmeg in it. I don't want
to try it.
I'll try it, but I don't know. They got tomato soup, as you might can guess. They make their own garlic bread, and you can get 6 slices of bacon for $4.50. I think that's a great deal.
Now this is what I'm talking about versus that other place.
See, what are your sides? How about can I get some bacon on the side? It's bacon. It's healthy. It's lean meat. It's delicious. Get some protein as well. So, and they have a variety of dipping sauces, basil pesto, horseradish. You can get a shot of tomato soup. That's not bad. Sriracha dipping, a sriracha ranch sauce. That doesn't sound too bad at all. So, if you're ever at James Madison for a game, Kelso, and you stop by and see our friends at Grilled Cheese Mania, you let them know that Hey Dad and Will East sent you. 5 o'clock hour coming up, the college football fix. I've had it up to here with Texas Tech. I can't take any more. It's a good old-fashioned Hey Dad rant. It's coming your way about Texas Tech when we come back. Oh, yeah. And then after that, a person named Richard Cross will join us. Talk a little bit more about the Ole Miss Rebels in the College World Series. It's all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Stay with us here. Back in just a minute on Sports Talk Mississippi.
Miss Sports Network from Learfield in partnership with TeleSouth Communications. We are inside 15 minutes until airtime. Your next time cue will be with 10 minutes until airtime. This is the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield in partnership with TeleSouth Communications. This is the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield in partnership with TeleSouth Communications.
Mississippi continues.
We're back here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Oh, man, that picture. Oh, Richard, they got you looking great. That's at least 10 years old. You look so young, so innocent before you delved into the world of politics. Richard Cross joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. How much has talking about politics aged you?
Not a day. It has been a blast. I just hope that picture makes me look a little more thin than I currently am.
Yeah, oh no, you look fantastic. This is like your 2016 headshot. So you're looking.
It's not that stupid one against the brick wall, is it?
No. There's a plain white background.
That's the worst picture that's ever been taken.
You got on a very vibrant orange tie. You look very Auburn-esque, actually. If we're being honest.
There you go. So I do look younger in that picture.
Yeah. I've asked this question of everybody I've brought on this week from the Ole Miss perspective. You called the Sunday game between Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I don't think you left Swayze Field that day thinking you were watching the Rebels as a potential College World Series team. Where did this season turn for Ole Miss, in your opinion?
I have no recollection of that game you're talking about. I'm sorry, you're going to have to ask a better question than that.
I'll try.
To me, it turned with the emergence of a reliable weekend rotation. It felt like, yes, Hunter Elliott was at the front end of the rotation at the beginning of the year, but it's like, okay, Will Libbert is going to be one of the starters because he was a transfer and we plan to have him come in and start. And you start kind of moving pieces around. And I think one of the things that Mike Bianco over the course of 26 years has done he may not always make a move as quickly as fans want him to make, but he tends to figure out the pitching. And it felt like people kind of slid into their roles. You knew you were going to have Hunter Elliott on Friday. You knew that it was going to be Townsend on Saturday and Rabe on Sunday. And then I think the thing that has allowed Ole Miss to take kind of the next step that has ultimately landed them in Omaha is what Taylor Rabe has become over the course of the season. A guy that's just pitching with so much confidence. The last month has been incredible. I honestly, hey, Dad, was looking at his numbers earlier today, and when I saw 91 strikeouts on the air, good grief. Like, I knew it was good, but I didn't realize it was that good. And this is a guy who wasn't a starter until, week 5, 4, 5, 6, somewhere like that in conference play. So the stability of the rotation, and then probably longer answer than you wanted, which I'm guilty of doing sometimes. The other piece of it is some of those guys that you thought were going to be offensive contributors that were bad in February and March settled in. Hayden Federico was awful for the first 6 weeks of the season offensively. He started playing really well down the stretch. Dom Decker, it took him a little while to get going. Austin Foley was a disaster. Well, you look up, he's got 9 home runs in the last 15 games or 19 games, whatever it is. And so getting the production that you expected from some of those offensive pieces to go along with really solidifying the rotation, I think is the reason that Ole Miss is here today.
Where would you rank this coaching job by Mike Bianco when you think about his career in Oxford?
That's a good question.
Well, thank you. Finally.
You got it. I put that on a T for you.
Yeah.
I think it's good, but it's so different, right? I mean, it's different in that we're 2 years into this Mike Bianco relinquishing some control, handing the keys to the offense to Mike Clement, handing the keys to the pitching staff to Joel Mangrum. And he hasn't just said he was going to do that. He's done it. And he has allowed his people to come in and do their job, and they've done it well. And so, we get the cliche of, he's in more of a CEO role now. Well, yeah, he is. But CEOs have to kind of lay out the vision and lay out the plan and then let their people go and try to do good work. And he has done that. And so in terms of leader of the organization, I'd give him really, really high marks for what he's done this year. In terms of him coaching guys, I don't know that it's that it's going to surpass 2022 when they win a national championship, or those early years when I know there was a lot of heartbreak in the whole Texas, Miami, Arizona State, 3 super regionals, 3 years, couldn't get to Omaha. Mm-hmm. But, man, those were some good teams. And those were his teams that he put together with the coaching staffs that he put together. So I certainly would give him high marks. But, is this the best coaching job he's ever done? I don't know. Let's see if they get to hold a trophy in a week and a half, and then maybe answer that a little bit better.
So I had Eddie Furness on with me earlier talking about, being a dad and getting to watch your son. You got to have a pretty fun father-son moment this past weekend I saw on Facebook. Obi was with you in Auburn as the Rebels move on to the College World Series. What was that like being there with your boy?
It was really cool. It started out as it was spur of the moment. Mm-hmm. People had asked me all week, hey, are you working next weekend? And I'm like, no, I don't have a super regional. I didn't make the cut.
Mm-hmm. Which is a joke. I'll say it. I know you can't.
Well, I had mixed emotions about it. Obviously, I would have liked to have been doing the television broadcast for one of the super regionals, but I'm like, man, we've been going in a lot of different directions, and just having a weekend at home to prop my feet up and watch baseball and be a fan and hang with the family will be great. But a couple of people asked me that. I was like, and unless I get a wild hair at the last minute and decide to make a run to Auburn.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was Thursday night. Jane was like, are you really not going? I was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I guess she's like, ask Obi, he'll want to go. And so I woke up Friday morning and Obi had football practice. He got home about 10. I was like, hey, buddy, what have you got going the rest of the weekend? He's like, no, nothing really. I was like, want to take a road trip? And he was like, where? I was like, where do you think? And he said, where are we going? I said, Auburn. He was like, yeah, let's go. And so we left at 1 on Friday, and we had a blast. And, we had I got a story for you, hey, Dad.
Go ahead.
This is just, tangential to this trip to Auburn. So game ends on Friday night, and it's 10:15-ish when we get to the ballpark, limited options. I'm like, hey, you go to Waffle House? Yeah, let's go to Waffle House. We go to Waffle House, and we get there at 10:35, and I walk up, and the door's locked. Lights are on. There are people inside, but the doors are locked. And I'm like, excuse me? And they're like, you have to only do a carry-out order. And I stepped back, and I looked up, and I was like, this is still Waffle House, right? They're like, yes, on Friday and Saturday nights, we stopped taking in-restaurant diners at 10:30. I was like, oh, you've had problems with fights, haven't you? And they're like, you can do a carry-out order. I'm like, we're good. We eat Waffle House inside, not to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want soggy waffle. So we ended up going to IHOP that night, and we went to Waffle House the next day. But, yes, it was really, really cool getting to experience that with him. And also kind of the way he's grown. Like, he understands what's going on, and he knows the players, and you know, he's analyzing what he saw from a pitcher or what the umpire is calling or not calling. He thinks it's the umpire's fault. You'd love him for that. It was a really, really cool experience. And we spent most of the drive home late Saturday night with him going, hey, Dad, are we going to Omaha?
Well, I mean, you know, that's the question that I certainly would have asked in that situation. All right, we got about 2 minutes left. That's 2 minutes, Richard Cross. Don't go over like you're famous for.
Yeah, I know.
What is this team going to do while they're in Omaha?
If they win tonight, they're going to play for the title.
I agree with that.
If they lose tonight, I think it's a really, really hard road. I don't think this team is built to play through the loser's bracket of a tournament. I think that if they had lost that.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Ole Miss Sports Network.
In time for the out! The Ole Miss Rebels are headed to Omaha! Are you ready? One on, hit deep to right field, down the line, at the wall, gone! A two-run jack for Will Furnace. How about them Rebels? Strike three call, got it on the inner edge, got him looking on an 84 slider.
Hotty-toddy. The Rebels have invaded Omaha.
Swung on deep to right, and one to it. That is a rocket bomb over everybody, and the Rebels will head back to the promised land.
I grew up watching the College World Series.
This is the reason guys come here. It's been our goal. It's been Omaha since day one.
It's the pinnacle of college baseball.
Freaking Omaha, baby. We're not just going there to do something. We're going there to win it.
And the Ole Miss Rebels are your national champions. Are you ready?
It's time to represent the SIP. This is Ole Miss Baseball in the 2026 College World Series on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield in partnership with SuperTalk Mississippi Media. Our coverage of Rebel baseball begins with the Ole Miss Dugout Show, presented by Ford, Mississippi Ford dealers, and the Ford F-150, official truck of the Ole Miss Rebels. The countdown is on to Ole Miss Baseball. Now to Charles Schwab Field, Omaha. Alongside Brad Henderson, here's the voice of the Rebels, David Callum.
After winning 5 straight games on the road in regional and super regional action, Ole Miss and to help give some money to that, I'm sure. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful sight, and it's always cool to be here to play in this event. Ole Miss comes in 41-21. North Carolina is the number 4 seed, 50-12-1. Ole Miss and North Carolina have not played since '69. Ole Miss is actually 4-0 all time against the North Carolina Tar Heels. And, you know, we played in 1964. Interesting because in 1964, we played in the District 3 playoffs at Gastonia, North Carolina. Guess who we beat first? West Virginia, who's in the College World Series this year. Beat them 11-0. Then we beat North Carolina 4-3 and 13-1 to get to the College World Series here in Omaha, and lost to Southern Cal and Arizona State. How about that? Those are names all familiar for postseason this year, aren't they? And then in 1969, a few years later, went back to Gastonia for the District 3 playoffs, beat Virginia Tech, and then 1-2 over North Carolina, 6-5, 5-2. Got to the World Series in Omaha. Lost to New York, beat Southern Illinois, and lost to Texas to get eliminated that year. And Texas, of course, is in the event as well. So that's kind of interesting historical piece. But it's amazing, Brad, through all these years, we've played a lot of the ACC teams. Clemson comes to mind, North Carolina State, on and on. But for some reason, we just haven't played North Carolina since 1969.
Yeah, they're really good, David. It is kind of awkward that we have played so many foes out of the ACC, but haven't played them in that long. But it's a really good baseball team. I know we'll talk about it more in the pregame, but Scott Forbes has done a tremendous job. Anytime you win 50 games in that league, you got a heck of a program. So Ole Miss with a real test tonight with the Tar Heels.
Ole Miss swept through the Lincoln Regional and the Auburn Super Regional, perfect at 5-0. Get to the College World Series for the 7th time in program history. The Rebels have made it to Omaha now 3 times under Coach Mike Bianco, 2014, 2022, when Ole Miss won the national championship, and now here in 2026 as well. North Carolina took care of business in their regional. They beat VCU and East Carolina twice, but they got in a little trouble in the Super Regional, Brad. They lost the first game 9-5, but won 2 tight ones with Southern Cal 4-0 and 4-3 to earn the right to be here. So their 13th trip to the Men's College World Series and their 2nd trip in 3 years. It's amazing. Nobody that was in this event last year is here this year.
Yeah, it is, David. And their path obviously was a little bit different. They got to host both rounds while the Rebels had to go on the road for the regional and the supers. But, both teams playing at a high level. You mentioned their super regional against USC. After losing that first game, they come out and get a complete game shutout from the guy we're going to see tonight. Yeah. And then we're able to walk them off there in game 3. So it was a tremendous victory for those guys at home. And then you talked about the Rebels, what they've done on the road, 5-0 in a hostile Nebraska regional, and then to go to Auburn last week with record crowds and to beat them in 2 straight. The Rebs are certainly playing well as well.
No doubt. North Carolina made the championship series on 2 occasions in 06 and 07, but had never won a College World Series title. Ole Miss won it over Oklahoma, of course, in 2022. Tar Heels led by 4 Heels who played in that 24 trip to the College World Series, and Gavin Gallagher, Jason DeCaro, who's pitching tonight, Cam Pageant was one of them, and Matthew Mathias also made it then. Of course, the Rebels have Hunter Elliott, who was a starting pitcher in the championship game back as well. North Carolina's played only one SEC team this year. They beat South Carolina by a score of 9-1. Now we start breaking down this team a little bit as far as what are we up against. The Heels have led the ACC in ERA in each of the last 2 seasons, Brad, and looking to be the first to go 3 in a row since Louisville's 5-year stretch with Dan McDonald from 2015-2019. First time in UNC's history it had the best ACC ERA in 3 straight years, and they currently got 4 arms on this team. They're in the top 15 in ERA in the ACC, and no other team has more than 2. You start there with their pitching. It's been good.
Yeah, 3.86 overall ERA, and that's been the story, David. That's what wins. That's what wins in the postseason, because I feel like we're as good as anybody on the mound, and we come in with a 4.37 ERA, and for them it starts with the guy they're going to throw tonight, DeCaro, a 2.28 ERA. He's been awfully good for the Tar Heels this season.
When you mentioned Ole Miss's pitching, we've struck out 688, a school record, lead the SEC, and are 2nd in the NCAA in total strikeouts, trailing only Oregon State. So no doubt that's been pretty good. 2025, we struck out 611, so we have been a high strikeout team. The Carolina offense, you look at them, heavily favors a bunch of new faces. They went out, they've got 76% new players, so they got a lot in the portal. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it does not, but they've been very good in the portal to get to Omaha this year.
Yeah, David, and obviously you got to give Scott Forbes, the head coach, a lot of credit, because it's all about communication and getting those guys to buy in as soon as they get on campus. You've seen the success Ole Miss has had with their portal guys. You think of Becerra and when Foley came in, Dom Decker now this year, and it's worked out really for both teams. But it really it goes back to the heart of it, right? Those guys that have been here a while, your Judd Utermarks, your Furnaces, your Hunter Elliott's, and the 4 guys you mentioned as well for North Carolina. So when it's all said and done, DK, we can sit here and we're going to dissect it, but it's 2 really good baseball teams playing at the pinnacle of college baseball.
And both have played exceptional defense. To be honest with you, we probably should have talked about that first, because that kind of gets you there or gets you out when you don't play good defense. We'll look at that a little bit later as well. But when we come back, we're going to check out the pitching matchups for this Game 1 for the Rebels in the College World Series. Dave Pulaski will join us with an NCAA update on the College World Series of the first game played today, all coming up on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
The right field terrace isn't just a place, it's a vibe where the red and blue roar among home run showers, sending opponents into delirium and bringing the energy to Swayze Field. This Ole Miss tradition is brought to you by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 49 years straight. Drive F-150, official truck of the Rebels, only at your Mississippi Ford dealer, based on 1977 to 2025 total sales.
Whether it is before you head to Swayze to watch our Rebs play or after the game celebrating a Rebel win, Funky's Oxford is where you want to be this baseball season. With 18 daiquiri machines, an expansive liquor selection, and Oxford's favorite pizza, Funky's is the place to bring your friends, family, and Fido. Rebels play away? We've got you taken care of with full coverage of the Road Rebs on our 15 TVs. From Oxford to Omaha, come hang out at Funky's to make the most of your baseball season.
Back to Omaha in 60 seconds. This is the 2026 College World Series on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
When love requires a gift, nothing says it better than Albritton's. Since 1920, we've been part of your family. From weddings and anniversaries to holidays, we've been there for every special occasion. At Albritton's, we value your trust. Every gift, whether large or small, is a reflection of our commitment to quality and excellence. There's a reason we're still Mississippi's foremost diamond merchant. Let us show you why. Albritton's Jewelry, 4460 Old Canton Road in Jackson.
Albritton's Jewelers.
You already know that Madison Cellars is Madison's favorite place to buy wine and spirits since 1988. On Highway 51 in the Madison Station Shopping Center, Madison Cellars has a hometown feel with a big city selection. Do you have a question about which wine to serve with a certain dish? Call 601-856-0931 and let their knowledgeable staff help you find the perfect match. Find out more at madisonCellars.net or stop by today. Madison Cellars on Highway 51 in the Madison Station Shopping Center.
I will remind you as we come back to Omaha, Nebraska, that extra base hits, the doubles and triples are brought to you by AnySpark, the most reliable, cost-efficient, lightning-fast internet around. Whether you're streaming the Rebs or surfing the web, Spark offers both residential and business options. Visit AnySpark.com to learn more and register for Spark Internet Service. And all stolen bases in the game are presented by Wade Incorporated, who's been serving Mississippi as your John Deere dealer since 1909 with 14 locations to choose from. Be sure to visit your nearest Wade Incorporated dealership for all of your long, small, and large tractor needs. And when it comes time to choose, remember, nothing runs like a deer. Let's check out the pitching matchup for this game. Brad Henderson's pitching diagnosis is brought to you by St. Dominic Hospital. Know your own vital stats with the online heart risk assessment. Visit stdom.com/healthyheart to get started. We're going to see Jason DeCaro that Brad alluded to a moment ago, 6'5", 230, a junior from Northport, New York. He went to St. Anthony's High School as a sophomore year ago in 25 for the Tar Heels. He made 16 starts, was 9-3, and named the All-ACC second team for the second straight year. He was on the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team, too. As a freshman back in 24, kind of exploded onto the scene. He was a freshman All-American by D1 Baseball and perfect game, All-ACC, only 17 years old. He started, his mom put him in kindergarten a year too early. Well, it's worked out for him. High school, he's the 5th top prospect in the state of New York by perfect game and was the New York Player of the Year in 2023. Also played basketball. But when you look at his stuff, Brett, the record is impressive. 11-2. The ERAs you talked about, 2.28. He's gotten to 100 pitches 5 times this year, with the most of 117 his last outing against USC. And that's the game that really he was incredible. 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. a complete game victory that North Carolina had to have or the season was going to end. But he has not gotten to double-digit strikeouts all year. But Jason DeCaro's coming off a mega game for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, it was terrific for him, David, and obviously it allowed them to get to that winner-take-all game, which they clearly did against the Trojans of USC. The stuff is really good. It's 91-94, so not overpowering, so to speak, but it's got a lot of ride. We talk about ride. It's got almost 19 inches of vertical ride. Got a curveball to go with it, be mid-70s to the low 80s. Slider will be low to mid-80s. Changeup, low to mid-80s as well. And what he's done so far all season, Dave, is he's pitched off the fastball, and he's going to go fastball changeups to left-handers, fastball sliders to right-handers.
It's coming up on Sunday at 6 p.m. Both of these teams making their first ever College World Series appearance. West Virginia was able to sweep Cal Poly in the Super Regionals to get there. They had been in the Supers in both 24 and 25. They got swept by North Carolina, actually, in Chapel Hill in 2024 before getting swept by LSU in Baton Rouge last year before finally breaking through to Omaha. Troy with the sweep of Little Rock in the Super Regionals after outscoring the Little Rock Trojans 19-4 in 2 games. The number 3 seed will have to try and rally from the elimination bracket. They were able to do so in Gainesville. They beat the top seed Florida twice in order to get through to the Super Regionals. So Troy with their backs against the wall, but that is nothing out of the ordinary for them. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the bracket, which starts tomorrow, it's basically a mini SEC tournament, right? You have Oklahoma and Alabama on one side. They'll play at 1 o'clock on Saturday, with the winner taking on the winner of Georgia and Texas. Now, the interesting thing is Alabama and Oklahoma met in the regular season in Norman. That was Easter weekend. Bama took 2 out of 3. They won the rubber game 3-2 on that Saturday before Easter. Meanwhile, Texas and Georgia didn't play during the regular season or in the SEC tournament this year. They did meet last year in Austin in Texas's first year in the league. The Longhorns ended up sweeping Georgia in Austin, and now Texas making their 39th College World Series appearance, the most in NCAA history. They have 6 national titles to their credit. They're taking on a Georgia team that is 51-12 this year, undefeated in regional play and in the Super Regionals, 1 win shy of tying their program record of 52, which they set in 1990 when DK, they won their only national championship.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad we're not on the Hoover side. Not that this side is easier.
The Hoover side.
But we've seen enough of the Hoover guys. Let's play on this side for a while. Hey, the head coach for North Carolina, Scott, as Brad was talking about earlier, he's done a fantastic year. He's in his 6th season as the head coach in North Carolina. He's spent 25 overall years. He just got his 250th win as a head coach and the one that punched the ticket to Omaha. 2024 ACC Coach of the Year. This will be his first meeting ever against Ole Miss. And Mike Bianco, the head coach of the Rebels, winningest coach in program history in 26 seasons, 20 postseason appearances, 9 Super Regionals, and now his 3rd trip to the College World Series. Of course, won the national championship in 2022. This will be his first meeting against North Carolina. We'll hear from Coach B next on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
At Atmos Energy, we believe affordable, reliable, and efficient natural gas is essential to achieving a low-carbon energy future. We're committed to helping protect the environment by providing smart choice solutions to help customers reduce energy use and lower their carbon footprint. Get a rebate up to $600 off qualifying high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
There's team pride, and then there's extra Ole Miss pride. When I'm carrying the Ole Miss Regions Visa debit card or prepaid Regions Now card, that's exactly what I get. Whether I'm grabbing some extra Ole Miss gear or picking up an extra dozen wings for the game, this card always brings it. Sometimes I get an extra hottie toddy from the cashier too. Visit Regions.com/Go Rebels to get yours.
Extra changes everything. And at Regions, Extra is our ordinary. Official bank of the SEC. Member FDIC.
The Rebels are back in Omaha. More College World Series coverage comes your way next on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
Earthwalk Shoes has moved to a new location in Ridgeland, still offering the personalized service for the perfect fit they're known for. Find your favorite brand, Hoka, Birkenstocks, SAS, Brooks, and more at Earthwalk Shoes, 588 Century Place, Suite G in Ridgeland, behind Grills of Mississippi.
We've sent that Rip Van Winkle guy to the dentist.
Hey, what? Hey, what?
And what's worse than a trip to the dentist? Your wife's paint project that you've put off. Let Seabrook Paint in Jackson and Ridgeland find that Benjamin Moore paint and a contractor that will get you back doing the important things in life, like grilling and watching sports. Seabrook, Benjamin Moore Paint, and a happy wife, happy life. Seabrook Paint in Jackson on Monument and in Ridgeland on West Jackson.
First down. Earthwalk Shoes has moved to a new location in Ridgeland, still offering the personalized service for the perfect fit they're known for. Find your favorite brand, Hoka, Birkenstocks, SAS, Brooks, and more at Earthwalk Shoes, 588 Century Place, Suite G in Ridgeland, behind Grills of Mississippi.
The Ole Miss Dugout Show continues with the head coach of Rebel Baseball, Mike Bianco. Once again, here's David Callum.
And we do welcome back. We've got Rebel head coach Mike Bianco as Ole Miss gets ready to launch into the College World Series. And, Coach, we start with just a congratulations. What a great honor just to be here.
It is, and we've gotten a lot of that this week, and I know Rebel Nation's excited like we are. But then, the big, task is to change that mindset and, get back into tournament play. And, they've done that well. They've been able to, put the SEC tournament away and go play well in Lincoln, Nebraska. And, after a good weekend there, get some really good competition. They were able to put that behind them and then play really well at Auburn. And so I'm looking forward tonight to, for them to put, last week away and, be here, be present, be where your feet are, and play a good baseball game tonight.
The scouting report on this North Carolina team, they've had a fantastic year, obviously.
Yeah, they have. And they do everything well. Probably the best comp I could give you would be Auburn. They pitch it at a really high level. They got a really good offense. They hit homers, not as many as us, but enough to where you got to honor that, especially in the middle of the lineup. They got a couple guys in their lineup that steal bases. They'll bunt a little bit. They field really well. They just play really good baseball.
Taylor Rabe is going first, and boy, he's strung together a lot of good outings for you.
He really has. And, looking over the numbers, and especially over the last month, the splits and whatnot, it was evident that, we needed to go right-handed in this game. Hunter's always been our guy, and he'll pitch. But we got to get through game one and put your best guy out there. And the numbers say you should go right-handed, and so we're going with our best right-hander.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.